Oh, I remember you.
There's another audition.
We've come a long, long way. I'm not afraid any longer. We've come a long, long way. Our love is getting stronger. We've come a long, long way, and the future's looking brighter. We've come a long, long way. Our love is so much tighter.
Hi again. People have been asking me for the last couple of weeks a couple questions like, why do you hate Popeye so much? What do you have against spinach? And first I say, I'm not Pluto. The second thing is they ask me is, where do you live? I say, why is that any of your damn business? I live in a place called Sherman Oaks. That is in the heart of the San Fernando Valley. I want to introduce to you my San Fernando Valley, what the city is like. But the most interesting thing about this city that's gotten some kind of a reputation is it doesn't really exist. Why do I say that? Well, because the city is not a city. It's a neighborhood. They decided to name areas after people based on streets, and then they later became neighborhoods based on the use of the streets. So when I say Sherman Oaks, there really is no Sherman Oaks City. It's an unincorporated area that's part of Los Angeles. In fact, we are regulated by the City of Los Angeles. We are saved by the LAPD and this LA Fire Department, and also part of the LA Unified School District. To give you a really quick history lesson about Sherman Oaks, in 1927, General Moses Hazeltine Sherman decided to buy 1,000 acres of land and industrialize it, which is now known as Sherman Oaks. In 1991, the area and region was expanded, and then again it was expanded again in 2009. And this is pretty much the Sherman Oaks neighborhood that I live in. The population is actually shrinking. In 2000, the population was 61,166. In 2010, it was 52,677. And the racial makeup is 82% white, 5% Asian, 11% Hispanic, and 3% African American. Now that we're done with the history lesson, ready to go see it? Let's go. This is Notre Dame High School. It's only a stone's throw from our apartment. The reason I wanted to show you is because it has one of the highest acceptance rates for colleges in the state, besides it being Catholic and private. Some of the notable alumni of this school have been Ed Begley Jr., Rachel Bilson, Maureen Flanagan, Kirsten Dunst, Catherine McPhee, the American Idol winner, and as well as Hunter Green, the number 2 pick in the 2017 MLB draft, now plays for the Cincinnati Reds. As we see the school up close, you can see it's very safely guarded and very expensive. And yes, I am standing on the grounds of a Catholic school and not getting struck by lightning, which I consider a miracle. We are now turning onto Ventura Boulevard, the main strip in the valley. It was immortalized in 1968 by the Everly Brothers' song Ventura Boulevard, and of course Moon Unit Zappa's song Valley Girl. And as we are driving now west down Ventura Boulevard to see the Vampires, as created by Tom Petty, we notice that Ventura Boulevard is an always changing street. The buildings that we see will no longer be here in about 20 years as they keep on rotating and recycling. For example, in the last several years, celebrities that have had stores on this strip have been like Lisa Rinna owning Belle Gray, which closed in 2012, Melissa Joan Hart owning Sweethearts, the ice cream store, which closed, and still, Claudia Wells, who played Jennifer in Back to the Future, owns the men's vintage retail store, Armani Wells. Ventura Boulevard itself has been the inspiration to many a song and songwriter. The story is that Michael Jackson was riding in the car one day when he came up with the lyrics to the song Billie Jean. And in the music video where he's walking on the sidewalks, he is supposed to be walking on the sidewalk of Ventura Boulevard, or give the image as such. One other piece of information is Ventura Boulevard has always been used as a dividing line. To the left are the houses of the multi-million-dollar range, and to the right is, quote, the poorer middle class or lower class area. We live so far over there. The structure to the right is Casa de Cadillac, an actual Cadillac dealership. It was used in the filming of Cadillac Man starring Robin Williams. We are now on the corner of Ventura Boulevard and Van Nuys Boulevard. This location is one of James Dean's last locations before he passed away. In 1955, he drove his 1955 Porsche Spyder to this gas station and filled up before taking it to Central California in hopes to drive it in the Salinas Road Race. At 5:45 that afternoon on September 30th, 1955, he had a head-on collision with another driver on the junction of the 446 and 41 junction and died on the scene after the car collided and made many cartwheels. We are now actually looking at part of the original 1,000 acres that General Sherman purchased back in 1920s. This area in 1980 became the Sherman Oaks Galleria. It was an auspicious, famous mall shopping center from the 1980s that became part more culturally than it did profitably. In 1980, they opened a Robinson's store on the south end and a May Company on the north end. This became the centerpiece of Sherman Oaks, as it was the financial center of where everybody wanted to shop, and became more and more famous because of the Valley Girl movement set forth by Moon Unit Zappa in the song and movie Valley Girl. This was actually used in the movies Fast Times at Ridgemont High, Valley Girl, Terminator 2 Judgment Day, and Inner Space, including many other projects too. In 1994, January 17th, was the famous Northridge earthquake. While this wasn't the biggest shopping center to receive the most amount of damage, it did receive noticeable damage where most of the stores in the mall did not open for 4 days. At this point, Robinson's May had merged to one company. And since they still had one store over there and one store over there, they only opened one of the stores. The other store didn't open for another 4 years. By this point, because it only had one major store to anchor the whole mall, the attendance dwindled immediately. And thus in 1998, the once popular mecca of shopping had to reinvent themselves. It officially closed in 1999 and reopened in 2002, renaming themselves as a current business entertainment lifestyle center. The offices are now home to such tenants as Warner Brothers and Comerica Bank. It is also home to several restaurants and cafes, an ArcLight theater known for its state-of-the-art theater productions. Many allege the downfall of the original Sherman Oaks Galleria to the fact that they opened another shopping center, the Sherman Oaks Fashion Square, less than a mile and a half away, with more recent stores and more popular stores, which is still a popular shopping center today. This is the Sherman Oaks Castle Park. You're probably wondering why I wanted to show a family fun center. Well, back in the 80s, this park was launched by an individual, but he couldn't really make that great of a profit as much as he hoped for it. So thus, as he was trying to close it, the city of Los Angeles took over and bought it from him. And since then, they have made a profit, a very good profit. And because of that, this has become one of the only family fun centers that's owned and run by a Department of Parks and Rec in all the United States. This is run entirely by the city of Los Angeles. As you can see, it has batting cages, miniature golf, an arcade in the castle, and actually very delicious pizza. This building behind me is one of Sherman Oaks' most famous pieces of architecture. It's known as the Sunkist Building. Even though Sunkist no longer owns it, it's owned by a company called IMT. It has been used repeatedly as an exterior for shots for many, many commercials. Right now, it is home to a lot of television shows production companies. This here is the oldest building in Sherman Oaks. And this is not. Now, this building behind me will not look familiar to you. It was only built in the last several years, but once stood there was a hospital. The hospital itself was old style hospital, but later, after the hospital was moved, they still kept the hospital building. And then they used it for locations such as the exteriors to the TV show Scrub. Donald Faison and Zach Braff could normally be seen on this street walking a lot. Or the other location where this was actually used was for the movie Crossroads with Britney Spears on the external shots. So we close this tour of Sherman Oaks by showing you the absolute top of the area. This is the end of Sherman Oaks right here. And around us, surrounding us, are the multi-million-dollar houses, none of which I could afford. The people that own them are the likes of Paula Abdul, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Jennifer Aniston, who was actually born in Sherman Oaks. During the wintertime, these multi-million-dollar houses normally get flood advisories just in the case that rain pushes all of the housing down. So that's our tour of Sherman Oaks. If you could afford a house down there, that means you have at least $800,000. Or if you could afford any of the multi-million-dollar houses that surround us, you're looking at just under $10 million for nice ones. It's an expensive area to visit. Sherman Oaks has its own unique thumbprint of companies like escape rooms, movie theaters. There's even an axe throwing range just down there. And if you just go over that hill right there, then you can actually see Los Angeles. And to give you a point of reference, Van Nuys Boulevard is right there, the 101 is right there, and over there is Universal City. But that's where we live. We'd invite you to come by, but let us know first so we can clean up. I know some of you are actors, and I know that there was an interesting story that happened last week that I wanted to talk about. It was in the news. There was a young lady in Atlanta. She's an actress named Racquel Bailey. Well, Racquel is not a new actress. She's been doing it for a few years now. She's had small parts on this and that. And she even had a leading role in an HBO movie called The Night Of, which I understand she was very good in. I never saw it because I don't have HBO, but I heard she was very good in it. Last week, she posted the following billboard. This was posted right off a highway in Atlanta. Attention, Mr. Perry, Racquel Bailey is your next leading lady. Then it has her website, and it has her Instagram and Twitter accounts. Obviously, she was trying to get a hold of Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry's productions of all the different productions, including the Medea movies, are located in Georgia. Georgia is a right-to-work state, so it costs production a little bit less. Plus, I also know there are some Georgia tax incentives. I don't know to what extent, but I do know it's cheaper for some things to film there. That's why Marvel movies sometimes film there, and that's why The Walking Dead films down there, because of these cheaper rates. And that's one of the reasons why Tyler Perry films down there. From what I'm understanding, this wasn't the first time she's posted a billboard. In fact, this was probably her second or third time. Each time it costs roughly about $5,000 to post one of these billboards, depending on the location, what have you. But she posted this to get Tyler Perry's attention. She posted the picture of this on her Instagram, and it went viral. One of the people whose attention she got was Tyler Perry's, who wrote on her Instagram, so, here's the deal. This is not the way to get my attention if you're looking for a role in one of my shows. Please, don't do this. Save your money. This is the third time that somebody has done this. Please stop. To audition is free. I'm sure you can use that money for a better purpose. I love that you want to work with me, and I love that you invest in yourself. But when you do things like this, it puts my team on high alert and makes me look at you sideways. I know the message that you want to send is a positive one, but this comes across as the opposite. Again, best way to work with me is to audition, and it's free. We post breakdowns at the time for actors. Just come in and audition. And by the way, you were great in The Night Of. It was my favorite show a couple years back. I already saw you. So just audition and keep your money. Again, I appreciate your effort, but that's not the way to work for me. God bless you, dreamer. I have no doubt you will make it one day. That went on the internet and, again, went viral. I was always told that in finding ways out of the box to promote yourself. Two examples. I knew of a guy who was trying to get cast in something. Obviously it's not me, this was about 20-something years ago. He painted a picture, or he superimposed a picture of himself on the outside of his van. So everywhere he drove, he'd have a picture of himself on the side of his van with all of his contact information. He parked notoriously outside of the gates of Paramount Pictures every morning and would just stand outside and wave at people as they came in hoping that they were casting directors. He did that for about 6 months until Paramount security finally whisked him off and told him not to come back again, and he had restraining orders. And I know that he never got even an audition. The other story I know about was a guy who was looking for an agent. He would get a headshot of his, send it to this agent that he really, really wanted, and he'd just wait. If he didn't get a call from the agent, which he didn't, the next week he would send the same headshot to the agent. And nothing. He did this week after week after week. It was over a year, and he sent out 50, 60 headshots every week notoriously. He gets a phone call from the agent. The agent says, "Please come in." He goes in, he meets with the agent. He's really excited and very nervous. The agent says, "Oh, no, we didn't want to hire you," and gives him back all of the headshots wrapped in ribbon, saying, "Here's your headshots, please don't send any more to us," and gives him back all 50, 60 headshots. He leaves disgraced. Now, if I knew of definite ways to get the attention of a casting director, I would. A couple years ago, I even did the Ice Bucket Challenge for ALS and named casting directors in it, and only 2 responded because I knew them personally. That's not a way to get attention. That's the difference between famous and infamous. While I may believe what Mr. Perry was saying is his own truth, at the same time, this young lady found a clever way of marketing herself. And as jealous as I am, and I am now, she's been getting auditions. Not necessarily from Tyler Perry, but from all the different productions going on around Atlanta. And she's gotten a handful of them. And this is the dead time of the year, so who knows what's going to happen when the season comes back. She, broke rules, but she's getting auditions. So I don't know if you're supposed to break rules or not. I just know that you're just supposed to keep on persevering. Racquel Bailey's reasoning that she said on a couple different news sources was that she was trying to set an example to never give up for her children. And I can guarantee you she really didn't. I went onto Racquel's website and I tried to email her, contact her, trying to interview her for this vlog, but I never heard back because obviously she's getting auditions now, and that's a good thing. So sometimes people ask me, what do I need to do to get ahead? I don't think I have a good answer for them. In fact, I'm almost certain I don't. Because for every answer, there's an exact opposite, and that works too. Maybe it's timing, maybe it's karma. It could be lots of things, but I just know that actress Racquel Bailey is auditioning, and I congratulate her for that, and I'll try not to show jealousy, because we are the same type. I hope she gets what she wants, and I hope this is a step, and I'm not going to pay $5,000 for a billboard because I don't have the money. But at the same time, I also have to say, for the $5,000 she spent, she's gotten so much press, so much advertisement, it probably paid itself 100-fold. So congratulations. And if you ever hear of Racquel Bailey, if you are Racquel Bailey, I still would love to interview you and find out more information about you for this very vlog. Yeah. So I guess I will see you guys next time. From Hollywood. That's a wrap. And to give you a point of reference, Van Nuys Boulevard is right there, the 101 is right there, and over there is Universal City. I have no idea what you just did.
I pointed to the freeway.
Okay.